Long way, get this shit a long way, hit the long way, long way, hit the long way, 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 shit, long way, long shit, long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, shit a long way. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit a long way, gotta get the shit a long way, finish rich, yeah. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit a know she don't really understand, man. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta get a meal, but she don't understand. She be tripping every day, she be tripping every way, but I gotta get the shit a long way, yeah. Tryna get money every single way, tryna get money every single day, yeah. Get money every single way, every day. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. I'm feeling like we be the new slaves, yeah. No, we gotta finish rich, no, we gotta finish rich. Got a new bitch, she don't understand, she don't understand, she's gotta get rich, she don't understand, sometimes we gotta hit lit, no, we ain't hit lit, tryna get the long way, yeah. Tryna get this shit the long way, yeah. Cause you tryna wrap up a entree, yeah. Told you the other day that did my phone show. We gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way, yeah. Yeah, get the shit the long way. My bitch be trippin' back and forth like a phone way. My name Atari, I ain't playing games, just a blood and tar. Yesterday she told me that she bout to leave, said fuck it, bitch, we gon' get some money. Said fuck it, bitch, I'm about to get some money. So what I do today, I went and got some money, yeah. Cause we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get shit the long way, yeah. Back and forth like the pong way, yeah. Man, I'ma get this shit the long way, get this shit the long way. Just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy. You gotta wear a mask, we the new slaves, and we be wearing this shit like every day. We be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay for me, yeah. So we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, yeah, we get shit the long way, yeah. Cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, yeah, we gon' get the long way, yeah.
What's up, everybody? Sorry I had to take it off of mute. Hold on, let me make sure I got you guys. Got to check a couple things because usually people are in here by now. Make sure this is a public thing. Make sure I didn't mess up in 1 second. Let me check something here. Channel live. 1 second here. Manage videos. Let me make sure it's public. I did not, because the last one I had was not public and it might have defaulted to that. But let me make sure. Let me make sure. Okay, it is public. All right. All right, cool. I just want to make sure. All right. Anyway, I'll see you guys come in when you guys come in. What's up, NC Biggs? What's going on, sir? From studio. All right. Well, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is LJ Young. I am the founder of SMD. I am not SMD itself. SMD is a family of people that think like me, I guess, you know. And what do I think or whatever, right? I'm here to share my gift. And my gift is that I understand that capitalism is psychological, split into two parts, positive and negative. This is a mathematical fact. This is not a theory. This is not a guess. This is not any of that. Okay, this is mathematical fact. Anyway, with this understanding, I understand that debt slaves live on the negative side of capitalism, and the psychological part is that they don't know that they live there. That's the psychological piece of it all, right? And you're probably saying, what are debt slaves? Debt slaves are people that own nothing. They own nothing. They think they can buy. Debt slaves are people that believe they can own with no money of their own. think they can buy houses with mortgages, buy cars with car loans, go on vacations while having student loan debt, et cetera, et cetera. Those are debt slaves. Their whole entire life living in the mathematical negative, and they don't know it, but it's a choice. Debt slaves are choosing not to trust a calculator. They're choosing it. They just, if you believe you're a homeowner, right? And you open up the calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal. You see that large negative number right there? That means you own nothing. That means you are owned. But if you make the choice to not believe the calculator, that's your choice. And therefore you will be on the negative side of the economy until you're dead. That's the majority must be like that. Now, don't get me wrong. If you choose to believe you're a homeowner with a mortgage, that helps me too. And that helps people like me, because the majority must believe that, because if you guys didn't, the housing market couldn't exist. The housing market couldn't exist without mortgages. So you must believe that, but that's okay. That's a choice. It doesn't bother me. I don't really care. I'm just here to share. That's all. Anyway. With this knowledge now, what I do is I help people participate in the economy on the positive side of capitalism. You come over here, you pay your taxes, you don't commit tax evasion, you don't make money and hide it and put it offshore accounts in this way, and so it doesn't get taxed. And when you hear people talk like that, when you hear people talk negatively about taxes, they're doing that because they don't understand them. That's why they're emotional and thinking taxes are bad and all this other stuff, is because they don't understand it. That's why they talk like that. Taxes are a thing, and it's a part of the system, period. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. All right. Hey, these taxes are high over here. They're high because you don't understand them. That's why. Right. Debt slaves, when you come to the positive side, and this is why, like, when you come to the positive side, cheating on your taxes would be cheating on yourself. Cheaters cheat because they don't know how to play. So that's why you're cheating. Right. When you come to the positive side, you understand the taxes. Debt slaves are the taxes. Debt slaves are everything. Without them, there is no economy, period. It doesn't exist without them. People on the positive side understand that. That's just how it works. And there's rules over here. Like I said, you come to the positive side, you don't cheat on your taxes. You don't hide money in bank accounts, not tell IRS on your taxes, and have them come and you just don't do all that. And the IRS will know that, because your numbers will match their numbers, so that everybody understands how it works, because mathematics doesn't lie. It's either right or wrong, period. Okay. And once you come to the positive side, you can do anything, be as rich as you want, be as wealthy as you want. It's all the choice. You could just choose it. You know exactly what to do. That's what I do. I help people come over here by providing them the blueprint on how to get here. There's a blueprint how to get here. Okay. The requirement number one to come to the positive side, you must own yourself. If you don't own yourself, you will never know what I'm talking about. You can kind of guess, but you can't do anything because you don't own yourself. Okay. What's up, Arlene? Now, today's video is going to be kind of different, because I want to, with this, now I understand how it works. Now I understand that capitalism is psychological, positive, negative. Now I can go deep back into my past and think about when the actual programming started, now that I know what it is. Like, so now I can go all the way back in my life and see where it started. So the farthest I can go back is when I was around, and when I say go back, I mean as far as when I started, money started being introduced into my life in particular different ways, right? So I grew up in Seattle, Washington. All right. And I lived in a place called Rainier Vista, and it was considered the projects back then. Right. Now, if you look it up now, you're going to see the new Rainier Vista. I didn't live in that one. There was a Rainier Vista before that one, if you Google it, right? Rainier Vista, Seattle, Washington. So you're going to see some nice buildings. If you Google it now, those are not it. Okay. Anyway, this is my earliest exposure to when I started being told about money. Now, this is the crazy part about it. Now, when you understand that capitalism is psychological, you understand that most of what you're being told is just a program to divert you from knowing what It really is, right? Because I know that now. I'm giving you guys hindsight, right? So I remember being young, growing up in the projects in Seattle. I was told, uh, black people live here. This is how we spend our money. This is how you get rich. You're rich if you have nice car and rims, but you're making car payments is normal. Credit, you can't get nothing. Look, this is early days. Credit, you can't do nothing without credit or whatever, right? And those are teenage times. But when I was in Rainier Vista, I'm saying I'm gonna say 10, 11. And I remember when I remember the ice, somebody showed me the first time I ever saw $100 bill, right? And he let me hold it. And he said, "Hey, check out this $100 bill," right? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, you're just amazed. Why when you're a kid, you see that, you're like, wow, whole $100, right? And then I said to myself, I want who makes this? That's what I said. I remember saying that to me. Who makes this? Who just to myself? No, I didn't really even ask nobody. These are questions that are important now. Who makes that? Nobody. And then I just left it alone. But then as I grew older, black people live here. This is how black people spend their money and this and that. And it's like, huh. But as a young child, since my earliest beginning, I was never, ever, ever a follower. I didn't follow people just because somebody said do something. I was just gonna do it. I didn't care what they called me. Oh, you're a punk for now. I was like, I don't care what you think. That's ever since I was a kid, I was always like that, where I was never a follower. So anybody that tried to tell me, hey, only black people only date black people, I used to say to myself, I don't get that. What do you mean? You mean I can't date another person outside my race? Yes, I can. This is America, right? Yeah, I know where I live. That's what I used to say to myself. So I ignored that. And as I got older, you started hearing things, okay, Chinese people are good with money, Jewish people are good with money. I'm thinking, so everybody's good with money, but black people? That's what I used to say as a kid. I just didn't accept that in my mind. I didn't accept another race or color of person was somehow smarter in money than me. I just was like, okay, maybe. I said to myself, maybe they know something I don't know, but I don't necessarily think they're smarter than me because they are Jewish. Because that's what people always say. Oh, I got me a Jewish lawyer. I always said to myself, why do you keep saying Jewish lawyer? Why don't you just say lawyer? Because all of that is, I want you guys to understand that. That's a program. Thinking Chinese people and Jewish people are smarter than you with money. Maybe more of them are, and this is the only thing so you guys can understand. Chinese people and Jewish people trust mathematics when it comes to their money. That's it. They know that they have to use mathematics when using when finances and money. That's a fact. That's it. It doesn't have nothing to do with their religion, the color of their skin, where they grew up. No, mathematics is worldwide. Everybody uses the same. Everybody. That's it. Nothing more. So when you hear people say, hey, man, I got me a Jewish lawyer or I got me a Chinese guy that does my accounting, you got to say to yourself, why are they mentioning race? Because they're mentioning the program. That's a program. I'm just here to tell you guys, if you ever want to understand that capitalism is psychological, that is a program. They're not nothing smarter than you. They just trust math. That's it. And when you say, what do you mean trust math? If you're making car payments, you don't trust math. If you believe you bought a house with a mortgage, you obviously don't trust math because you can't do that. If you believe you own equity in your mortgaged house, you obviously don't trust math. That's what I'm talking about. And I remember as I was going into my high school years. No, let me go back to the neighborhood for a second. Now, when I was young, you see drugs and drug dealers and this, like when you live in the projects, it's not a scary place. I had a ball. I had all my friends close, If one friend wasn't home, I could just go down this, I could just go to the next building over and go to my next friend, and so on and so on. I had a ball. I didn't realize I lived in the projects until I started going to school. Until people try to tease me about it. Oh, you live in Rainier Vista? I said, yeah. Oh man, this and that, and try to. I was like, why do you guys do that? You know, no, it didn't bother me if somebody tried to tease me. I just thought it was weird. Why you tease me? Well, I had fun there. I don't care what you think. Very young age, very young. But I guess I had to be a non-follower to get. I guess the only the only thing I can think about is my mom. My mom must have, because my dad wasn't around. So my mom, ever since I was a young child, and I didn't want to skip this part, so you guys understand. I re- I remember since a young child, I had chores. I don't even remember the age of when I started chores. I just thought every kid had chores. I really did. I thought every kid had a schedule. This week is your dishes. This between me and my sister. This week your dishes. You got the living room, and then every 2 weeks you get allowance. And if you miss your chores, she's taking $1 off the allowance if I don't do the chore right. And I just thought that was normal for every kid until I went to school and found out that was not true. But little did I know, because those years from age 1 to 7, you guys have no idea how important those years are. You guys have no clue. That age is 1 to 7. They're like a kid's brain is like an empty hard drive. It's going to take in whatever it's fed as truth. So when my mom did that to me, did I like it? No, I didn't really like it, but I understood as an adult, it created structure in my life. It did. I had to be in bed by 9 o'clock was bedtime. 9 o'clock bedtime. I couldn't just stay up as late as I wanted. I had to bring home good grades. I had to do all that. I got to school, man. I found out, hey, I was talking to one of my friends. I was like, yeah, man, I got these chores. He was like, I don't have no chores. I was like, what? You don't have chores? Blew my fucking mind. I was like, what? Because that's the first I had heard of it. I thought up to this point, I thought every kid had chores. I went home and I still remember to this day. I'm guarantee you she don't remember, but I came home. I said, Mom, I'm gonna say his name is Lil Bobby. Lil Bobby said, I was at school. He said he hadn't eaten chores at da 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 da. And she looked at me. She was like, so? I still remember the look on her face. She was like, so? I was puzzled. I was like, what do you mean so? She was like, that's Lil Bobby. That's not you. You have chores. You don't do your chores. You don't get no money. You get a restriction. Blah blah blah. And so I left it alone. But as a grown man, I didn't know those important, crucial years that she was forming inside of me, because I carried that for the rest of my life. Structure. So as I got older, going into high school, especially in high school, because that's when fashion comes out. Everybody got the latest clothes and shoes because you think that shit is important because you're in high school. But when you're that age, you don't know that shit don't mean nothing. It means absolutely nothing, especially because you don't know as a kid, you don't really have a job or anything because you don't know how that shit is purchased. The majority of that shit purchased for high school kids is by their parents on credit cards. That's what that is. So what do you think? What do you think the high school kids are what do you think they're gonna have to believe in their mind to get the stuff that they have? Credit cards. They gotta have credit. That's when they start pumping credit in your brain. That's the next program. You can't buy shit without credit. That's what you believe. Can't buy a house, car, can't go on vacation, can't do nothing. That's a program too. That's a privately owned business. You don't need credit to live. You think you're gonna die if you all got credit? Think about it this way. If you didn't have no credit, would you die? Then that means that's a program. If you didn't eat food, would you die? Yes, you would die. If you didn't have credit, would you die? No, that's a program. But I didn't know that. You got to remember, I'm growing up as a debt slave because my mom was in debt. She was clearly in debt. I'm looking back, you guys. Now I'm looking back. We are in debt. So of course, as I'm growing up and throughout my life, we have no money. I thought layaway was normal. We used to go to Kmart, pick out all our stuff, put it on layaway. They would bring it to the back. My mom would make payments, and we get it, 30 days, 20. That means you're in debt. That's if you're doing layaway on clothes and stuff and making payments, you're in debt. But as a kid, you don't know that. You just think layaway is normal. That's just what we do. No, people in debt do that. So as you get older, they start putting in your head, you better be going to college. You better go to college. You ain't going to be shit if you don't go to college. You better go to college. Remember, the whole time I'm growing up, I'm a debt slave. I don't know I'm a debt slave. So of course, I'm not going to have money for college when college gets here. Of course not. And then what I'm going to use? Student loan debt. Of course. Why? Because all my life they've been programming, you better get a college degree else you ain't gonna be shit. None of that is true. That's a program. You could you ain't gonna be shit if you believe it. If you believe you ain't gonna be shit if you don't got a college degree, then that's what you ain't gonna be shit. But that's a choice. You could be something without a college degree. When you see Bill Gates and those guys and other dude from Zuckerberg dropping out of college, why do you think they're doing that? They know they don't need that bullshit. Didn't they just show you guys that? They dropped out and now they're billionaires. That means they know something they know capitalism is psychological and they know college is a business. Listen, I don't care if they bury you in student loan debt. That's a choice. I don't care if the colleges charge a ridiculous amount of money. They can because you have no money. That's the only reason why colleges can charge what they charge, because debt slaves have no money to go and pay for it themselves. That's called business. When you hear about a dean of a college making $1 million or $2 million a year, what do you think that is? That's just money that you guys are giving them or something, because they're not doing enough. A dean of a college is not doing enough for $2 million a year at a college. Are you crazy? Let me find out. I go to a college and find a dean is in student loan debt. I'm gonna be like, what? You guys, listen, you guys don't know to look for that. You guys just, they're a doctor and they got a degree in this. Did you ask them if they have student loan debt? If you go to a college and the dean of the college is in student loan debt, I suggest you don't go to that college. That's a strong suggestion. The dean has student loan debt? How long has the dean been a dean? I'm not going to this college. Why? You got a debt slave as a dean. I'm not doing none of that. Then you got to remember, now I'm getting to 18. Now you're a young kid. You're getting ready to graduate. Everybody and their mom is shoving college down your fucking throat. Oh my God, what are you going to do? You guys don't know. You guys are too afraid to admit it. I don't even know what I'm going to go to college for. They know that. You just have to have the balls enough to turn to your parents and say, I'm not doing that. Why? Because I'm going to be buried in student loan debt like you, mama, daddy. Mom, dad, you guys are pushing college down my throat, right? Yeah. You have student loan debt? Yeah. I'm 20. You mean you guys had student loan debt for 20 years? I'm not going to college because I ain't got no money, and I'm not doing that. You got to have some big balls, man or woman. That's why when you go to college, credit card companies are on campus because they got deals going on. They're about to round you 18-year-old clueless people up. They get first dibs at purchasing debt slaves. That's how debt slaves are purchased. College loan debt, unbankruptable. You think I knew that? Like I don't follow people. So when I got to age 18, They started shoving that shit down my throat. I was like, no, I'll get a regular job because I don't even know what I want to go to school for. That's what I said to myself. I'm not going to college just because they're telling me to go because I don't even know what I want to go for. So I just got a regular job. Sure did. Fred Meyer in Renton, Washington. Fred Meyer grocery store. 17, 18 years old. 87, 88, somewhere around there. Worked there for like 7 years, worked my way up to night manager or some bullshit. And then as I was getting, going up the ladder in the company or whatever you want to fucking call it, I said to myself, yeah, I don't want to do this kind of work. This is hard labor. I don't like it. Stocking grocery shelves at night, you guys don't understand. That work was hard. That was hard work. And they want you to get it done in a specific amount of hours. You're running all night. That's perfect for a young person. But as I was getting older, I was like, I don't want to do this. Still, I wasn't getting ahead. I always knew as I was a young man, okay, get the credit because I got into the credit game. I followed, don't get me wrong, I didn't follow the college thing, but I got into the credit. I was like, okay, all right, everybody's saying that I must have good credit to be able to buy anything in the future and this and that. You're just following along like a sheep. You don't know. Why? Because everybody around me was doing everybody bought houses with mortgages, mortgage payments, car payments. That's what you just think. So that's what I did. But I kept my credit good though. Even though I didn't really understand it, but I was like, okay, but I'm gonna keep it good. I'm not gonna let shit go into collections. I'm gonna keep it up around 700, 730. I never really reached 850, but that wasn't really one of my goals anyway. I just wanted to make sure it was good. But I noticed as I because when I started getting myself deeper in debt, I thought the answer was get a higher paying job. That was the answer. So what I do, I went to college, but I knew I went to college around 20, late 20s. I knew if I wanted to make more money because at the time I thought the only way my life was going to get better, I had to get a better job to make more money. So what did I do? I went to college, but I went to college for a specific thing. I'm late 20, so I said, okay, I'm going to college for IT. I knew exactly what I was going for. I wasn't going just to figure it out. I knew exactly what I was going for. So I got student loan debt. But I was driven, for a year. I did it in 3 because I was like, hey man, I ain't got no time for vacations and summer breaks. Those days are over. That's what I said to myself. I'm going straight through. Got it done in 3. Fast forward, got into it, got successful, made 6 figures. Guess what I did? Went out and financed more stuff because I wanted to show the world. I wanted to show the world that I was making 6 figures. So what I had to get, I Lexus, nice place, nice clothes, etc., etc., vacations, all that. Hey, look, everybody, I'm going to Australia. Went to Australia for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Guess what that was on? Credit. I didn't pay for that trip in cash. I made payments. But to the world, oh, look, LJ got money. He's in Australia. You got to be rich. No, you just got to have enough credit. That's it. I'm sure I paid for that Australian trip probably for 2 years on payments, paying back the credit card plus interest. All those times. And I remember when I first got mine. No, actually, when I got my first house, I got lucky because I was with a woman that she had a grandmother that was really, really smart, and she helped us out the right way, but I didn't know that at the time. So she helped us get the house. Anyway, her and I didn't work out, threw the house away. Because why? Because I didn't really understand how it all worked. Later on down the line, got my good job and everything, financed another house. No money. Remember, I'm in debt. Even though I'm making six figures, I have no money. I get a house, didn't know what the loan was. I was just signing papers. Hey, man, you can borrow some money from your friend and then deposit it into your bank account so it'll look like you can make, 2 months worth of payment. So it'll be approved, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I did. I just followed all the steps that they told me to do, that the people that would do that don't understand how money works. Like, for some reason, like, you think the bank doesn't know that you just deposited the money into the account. Here you are, have an account with the bank, never having more than $100, and then when it's time to get a house, you get a deposit of $3,000-$4,000 into your account for something. The only person that didn't know was me. I get this house. Everybody, you stop throwing away money on rent. I swear to God, the bank probably came up with that phrase. I swear to God, it sounds like the bank came up with that, right? Don't stop throwing away money on rent. I fell for all that bullshit. And then I finally got the place. I was like, yeah, I'm a homeowner. Yeah. But when I remember being in it, I was like, it doesn't feel like the way people make it gonna feel like I own something. Correct? I didn't own shit. I didn't know you can't listen to me clearly. I did not know I couldn't buy a house with no money. I didn't know that. I'm gonna say it one more time. The reason why they financially took advantage of me is because I did not know I couldn't buy a house with no money. So they took advantage of me. Hey, listen, I don't have nothing against the banks, nothing. That was business. Whose problem is it if I don't trust math? That's my problem. That's not their problem. So I'm in this place. Of course, I'm doing like everybody else on social media, posting pictures of my new crib. Look what I have. I'm in front of it. I'm financing new furniture and appliances for the place. Oh man, just doing it big. Now I'm responsible for everything. Doing it all wrong. When I think back of my days as a debt slave, you guys have no walking in the stores, purchasing my new clothes on credit cards, looking like I got money, just looking like it. Just, oh yeah, LJ. Oh, what you do? Because when you're a debt slave, you guys I always used to love telling dates, women, what I do. What do you do for a living? Because that's a question. That's the main. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm an IT engineer. Ooh. Yeah, I work for this company over here. If it's a big company, that's even bigger news. Ooh, like the size of the company that you work for matters. It doesn't even fucking matter. But to impress the others, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm an IT engineer, level 4. And it's all the job title that the job gave to me. And they're going to take it away when I leave. Like, whatever your job title is, just remember, your employer gave that to you. They own that title. Once you leave, it's just your name. Okay, just remember that. Don't ever forget that. When you leave the company, fired, laid off, blah blah blah, now it will be just your name. You better figure out who that person is. Because if you've been at a job for like 20 years, 20 years you have been the executive blockety blah 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 for 20 years. That means you don't know what it's like not to have that title. But once you leave that job or something happens, you're going to find out quick. You better figure out whose name, who that is, who that person is. That's why the majority of people right now don't want to retire, because they don't know what the fuck they're going to do. Is that you? Been at a place for like 30 years. This is all you know. Clock in 40 plus hours. You have no idea what you would do with the 40 plus hours back in your life, because you've never owned it at all your entire life. You'll see a person still working in their 60s, 70s. You're like, why don't you just retire? Because they don't know what to do. That's a scary place to be. Work all your life, have, oh yeah, I got millions in my retirement account. Then what are you doing here? Because it's the psychological part at this point. If you've been at a place for 30 years, you don't know nothing else. That's why as I was growing up as a young man in my career, I wouldn't stay at a place longer than like 3 to 5 years because I got something itchy in my ass or so. I don't know. I just had to leave. When I used to start jobs and they start talking about retirement plans and shit, I'm like, I'm not gonna be here that long. What, you think I'm gonna be here until I'm 60? Are you fucking crazy? That's what I used to stay in my mind. Some of these jobs got mandatory retirement contributions. Are you you're not telling me what I'm gonna do with my money. I'm not working there. I remember when I was, let's go back to when I was this is when I was exposed to something I didn't know. Anything you have to question yourself on, there's a reason why you're questioning. So back to the grocery store job, Fred Meyer in Renton, Washington. All right. I remember I first got this job. Now this was a union job. Okay, it was a union job. So when you're a kid and you hear, oh yeah, you want a union job. This is what you're just fed. You're like, everybody's telling you this. Oh man, once you get a union job, man, it's hard for them to fire you and this and that. I'm like, what? You mean they will protect me from an employer that might want to fire me? So if I'm doing a bad job, they can't fire me because of the union? That don't make sense. I said that to myself. But when I got this job, they were like, now remember, this was one of my first jobs. I learned about taxes being taken out of my check. And guess what else? Union dues. You mean I can't work if I don't pay my union dues? That was mandatory. Mandatory union dues. I was like, well, okay, well, where's the option if I don't want to join the union? There is no option. You either join it or you can't work here. So we got these dues. Now I'm working there 5 years, paying my dues. Next thing you know, we go on strike. And they said, well, you got to come pick it, and we're only going to pay you this much a week, was a small portion. I thought to myself, what about all that money that I put in? Exactly. What about all that money? Where'd it go? Who knows? Who knows where it goes? So, hey, listen, that's why nobody would ever force me to pay something I don't want to pay. Fuck that. I'm not working there. They'll protect you and this and that. Why don't you just go and do a good job? You don't have to worry about protection. If you go work for a company and you do the job that they're paying you for, don't worry about them not liking you or getting rid of you because you are producing. You start your own business and you hire a person that's doing an excellent job. What do they do? What do they need a union for? They don't. So whatever they're really for, listen, I don't care. If unions are doing everything legal, I don't care what they're doing. So what? I don't. If they're paying their taxes, taking the dues, using the money that they said they was going to use it for, and they're paying their taxes, hey, whatever. Because you don't have to work there. You could just leave and say, I'm gonna get me a job with no union, because there's plenty of jobs with no unions. Stop thinking you need protection. Protection from what? And it's so crazy. Here's another program too. Hourly versus salary. So as I was growing up, I was hourly all my life. But then for some reason I thought, oh, now I'm up there in the ranks. Now I'm making six figures in salary. That's a program to make you believe salary is better than hourly, when the opposite is true. Because when you're salary, they get way more money out of you. Believe that. Way more. They did to me. Why? Because I was in debt and I had to accept whatever they did. A phone on my hip, answering 24-hour calls whenever they call. They say, hey, this is what my last job said. They said, hey, when there's a severity one, we call it a Sev one. When there's a severity one, everybody drops what they're doing and they get on the call. I said to myself, now remember, when I'm in debt, I'm only talking to myself, okay? That means you own 24 hours of my life. So if I'm at my kid's birthday party and there's a Sev one at the company, you mean I got to leave my kid's birthday party and get on? And you know what's so crazy? With that in my head, you guys got to understand this. With that program in my head to say, I got to get on the call, I carried my laptop and phone and internet thing with me every single place I went, just in case there's a Sev one call. I didn't leave my phone. I could be in the house. I didn't leave my phone downstairs. If I was upstairs, I would come back down, make sure my phone, just in case of a Sev one. So they paid me salary, 40 hours a week or whatever that was, but owned 24 hours of my life. That would not happen today. I would never allow that to happen. Why? Because I'm not in debt. This is why I could no longer work a regular job. I didn't realize that because when I got completely out of debt, I still worked the job. But when you work a job and you have no debt, your job experience is very different. You understand the job as a tool. You understand that 99% of the people you work with are there because they have to be there. Look at the parking lot. When you drive up to when you drive up to your job, look at the parking lot. Look at all the car payments. Those people have to be there. When you have no debt, you don't have to be there, and your environment is totally different. I didn't allow them to call me all the time no more. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm out of here. And then you start thinking about lunch breaks. I got to ask permission to go to lunch. I got to tell the manager when I'm going on break. I'm grown. That's what I started talking. This is how I started talking. Even though I was doing this all my life, 15-minute, 20-minute breaks, 1 hour lunches here. You got to be back by 5 or be back by 1 or 2. You know what I'm saying? Just those are just all the rules at the job. I don't really care, but I'm just saying when you're in that program, I thought that was normal. There were so many times when I would go to lunch and I would say to myself, I wish I could just go home right now. I don't want to go back to the office. I just want to go home. These are things that you say to yourself, not realizing that's what you want. But you got to create that. I had to create that. How do you do that when you've been working all your life? It's you don't know. First step, get out of debt. So finally, I remember driving home one day. I was living alone at this time. I remember driving home after work one day, pulling up to the gym like my normal everyday routine. Right after work, hit the gym, start bullshitting around in the gym 2-3 hours, looking at bitches and ass and all just the normal stupid nonsense. Be in the gym for 3 hours. Go home, take a shower, start the whole process over for the next day. Looking forward to Friday and the weekend, doing all the stupid, Friday, thank God it's Friday, Wednesday, hump day, all the programs. All that shit is a program. Till one day I pulled into the parking lot and I said, wait a minute, you mean I'm going to be doing this for the rest until I retire from the company? Talking to myself in the car. So I'm going to do this every day, 5 days a week until I retire from the company. And then at age 65 or 60 or whatever it is, and then I start enjoying life, I was like, hell no. Hell no. I'm not doing any of that. Didn't know. Hey, listen, I didn't know how I was going to change it. Everybody in the debt matrix talking about, hey, become an entrepreneur, work for yourself, and get rich fast, and this and that, and da-da-da. You don't know what to listen for and what to hear, what to pay attention to. You don't know anything. You don't know to own yourself. In order to participate and become rich and wealthy into the economy, the first step is to own yourself. That's step number one. That's step number one. And you know who woke me up? Let me tell you guys who woke me up. It was the bank. The bank woke me up. They sure did. You're probably thinking, well, how'd they do that, LJ? Well, I remember going to get a loan for some stupid shit, I'm sure. Something to do something. Another loan, but this time they told me no. They said, nope, sorry. Usually all the time I would pick up the phone or do something online and fill it out, and they would send me a letter. Hey, you've been approved for the amount of money you asked for. I never even talked to anybody ever. When I got a loan, I barely talked to people because I was responsible with my credit, right? Till one day I got denied. I was like, what? Then they gave me the debt to income ratio and this bullshit. And I was like, huh, okay. But that still didn't answer the question because I had good credit, no missed payments, nothing. I all my life, nothing bad. But this time you told me no. I said, wait a minute, I'm in this much debt because of you. I said, I think I better Google a deeper explanation for this definition of debt to income ratio. And as I'm doing it, as I'm looking up debt to income ratio, I'm typing in debt. Guess who I came across? Dave Ramsey. Now, at this point, I had never, like when I was a debt slave, getting to zero, I thought to pay off all my debt, I would have to be rich or something. That's just the program, right? Then I come across Dave Ramsey, and he just basically says, take my baby steps and this calculator and get out of debt. And I said to myself, it can't be that easy. That's what you think. You're right. You're right. I'm a college educated engineer. You mean to tell me all I got to do is use the calculator to get out of debt? Yep. That's it. That's my translation of Mr. Ramsey. Okay. And that's what I did. And I got out of debt. But then I got to the part of Mr. Ramsey's plan where he says, okay, get out of debt, accept the mortgage. And then you start putting away money into retirement and start investing and doing all this other stuff. And I said, wait a minute, while having a mortgage, you can't do that. Again, I'm talking to myself. I'm saying, Mr. Ramsey, you just told me to get out of debt. A mortgage is debt. I can't invest in anything while I have a mortgage. But he had a whole plan telling you how to defy everything after that is telling you how to defy the laws of mathematics. You know what I said to myself? That's business. Because you can't do any of that. You can't do any of his plan, go to his Vesta Pros. You can't do none of that with a mortgage. I said, okay, see, that's where I left the Dave Ramsey train because I said, you can't do any of that. That's called business. Nothing wrong with it. He's not a bad person. He's not an evil guy. He's not tricking anybody and this and that. Nothing, okay? That's just called business. So I just left. And I said, okay, there's a bigger piece that I'm missing here. Because Dave said I can invest while having a mortgage when you can't. So, okay, I'm missing something here. You know what I was missing? You can't buy a house with a mortgage. That's 100% mathematically impossible. You cannot buy a house with a mortgage. That was the missing piece. And I said, wait a minute. Okay, wait, what else is there? Cars. You can't buy a car with a car loan? Nope. Can I invest in retirement while having student loan debt? No. Can I go on vacation while having student loan debt? Nope. Then how am I buying anything right now? You're not. I said I'm on to something. Millions of people don't know this. Sure don't. All you gotta do is look. Trillions of dollars in student loan debt. Does that sound like people know? Nope. Trillions in car loan debt. Does that sound like some people that know? No, they don't know none of that. You think CarMax could exist if people were paying cash for cars? No, they wouldn't exist. CarMax exists because there are millions of people don't know that you can't buy a car with car loans. That's why they exist. All those years. I'm making car payments. Thought that shit was normal. I'll never forget this. I'll never forget this song. Biggie Smalls, he had mentioned this in one of his songs back in the day. Why talking about, yeah, you probably with your man who's making car payments and this and that. I'll never forget that part in the song. And I remember saying to myself, I made up something. I was like, what's the big deal about making car payments? Or you're not making car payments because you're rich and this and that. You just come up with this whole program. I didn't even know the true meaning of what he meant in that song. Only debt slaves make car payments. It only takes one day to buy a car, not 84 months. So now that I understand how it works, I also think back, when I think back as a debt slave, I thought to myself, how many people were like throughout my life, you're not going to really run into a person that knows at a job. You're probably not going to be working with a person like this. Okay. You're probably gonna, I don't know. So anyway, I think back, I'm like, was I ever around a person speaking like a debt slave in front of them, in front of a person that knows? I always think about that now. I mean, it's not a big deal now, but I'm thinking to myself, because you guys don't understand, it's a different language. This is a gift. I'm probably one of the rare people that has a gift that actually can prove their gift with mathematics. I can show you that I can prove that the psychological is a language. I can prove that whatever you want. And if you choose not to believe the math, that's a choice. When I look when I look back, man, I just think about all the being at the car lot for 8 hours. I remember I thought it was normal to go to a car lot and be there all day. I used to prepare myself. To be at the car dealership all day to finance one car. Do you know only debt slaves do that? I'll never forget this one experience. And now these are moments in time that I didn't really understand at the particular time. And I told this story before, but let me share it with you guys so you guys can understand it. I remember one time, this is back in Seattle. I was married at this particular time. And it was a beautiful sunny day in Seattle, which is rare. Okay. But I'm thinking it was summertime. All right. So I was waiting for my wife to come home from somewhere. Right. So we can get in the truck and go to the beach. All the kids were ready. We were waiting for her to get there. Right. So she finally gets home. She gets dressed. She hops in the truck. We on our way. We get ready to head out. She says, "Hey, pull into this dealership car, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Why you want to pull in there?" So we pull in there. The car salesmen come out. They say, "Hey man, hey Mr. Young." I was like, how the fuck they know my name? Oh, my wife was like, "Oh, I was here earlier. I wanted to look at this car and this and that and da da da." I was like, because at this time I'm a debt slave, so I'm thinking, if we try to get this car, we're gonna be here all day, and then we're not gonna be able to go to the beach. So I was pissed. They came out to the car. I said, "Hey man, I'm not getting out of this car." This is what I said. "I'm not getting out of this car." I said, "If this deal is not done, I financed this car too, right?" I said, "If this deal is not done within an hour, I'm not buying anything." Do you know they got that deal done in an hour? They got it done in an hour. Now, I didn't really understand the relevance at that particular time of maybe, and I had good credit at the time, so I'm sure I had a little bit of oomph to even talk like that, right? But I didn't realize that at that moment, hey, wait a minute, I don't have to be at a car lot all day. No, they just wear you down until you'll sign anything. They only do that to debt slaves. You know how many times, you know how many hours I wasted at a car dealership financing cars? Just and when I'm financing a car, I never negotiated the price. The price was the price. If I walked in the car lot, they had a sticker on the window said this car is this. I'd be like, okay, let's go in and see if I'm approved for it. No negotiation of nothing. Financing the full thing. Get it, approved. Can't wait to drive home to show all my friends that I signed my life away for a fucking car. Telling everybody the full price of the car like I paid cash for it. Embarrassing myself. Didn't even know it. I didn't know I was embarrassing myself by telling the full price of a car that I didn't even buy. Yeah, man, this car's like $70,000. Did you pay cash for that? No. Then why are you telling me that? Because you're a debt slave. Only debt slaves do that. Did you know that? Yeah, man, this car's like $100,000. You're making payments, right? Yeah. Then why are you telling me that? Nobody gets a finance car on sale. Nobody. You think I knew that? No. What's up, Gabriel? Code? What's going on, Andre? James? We say, what are your thoughts on getting a personal loan to finish last semester of college? I know you said you're fine with student loans as long as, student loans. I mean, don't waste too much time. If student loans are easy to get, just do it, but just pay them off. Yeah, I'm not against student loans. I'm just saying don't keep them for your life. You go to college for 4 years, give yourself 4 years to pay them off. That's all I'm saying. I can get an extra loans and I do not have a coast and whatever, as long as you know you're going to pay it back. That's all. I don't really care about it. If it's going to help you reach your goal, do it. Because say like I had a business idea and I've tested it and it works and I need some money and I got a whole bunch of credit cards. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to use all of my credit cards to start the business, all of them. You know why? Because when I get the business up and going, my customers are going to pay those credit cards back, not me. I'm not paying those credit cards back in the interest. My customers are paying that back, not me. That's the difference between being a business owner and your personal. When you're paying taxes personally, you are using yourself to participate in the economy. Therefore, that's why you are taxed. If you create a business, you're using a business to participate in the economy, not you, not yourself. LJ getting laid off in March was probably one of the best things that happened to me. Okay. I now qualified to get state funding training in cybersecurity. See how it works? And when you're not in debt, it's not a big deal to get laid off. You're like, hey, oh, well, while everybody's walking around the business panicking, oh my God, what are we going to do? If you have no debt, you're going to be like, I guess I'm going to look for another job. I'll take about a month. Have any of you had a full, and this is crazy because I'm gonna just tell you this right now. When I was a debt slave, I had never, ever, ever in my life had a whole month off. Not work a whole month, never in my life. I thought that was a huge deal to not work for 30 days. That is bananas. I haven't had a job since 2016. I worked all my life and never took 30 days off, never 1 month. I'll be like, oh, no, man, I'm be losing too much money. Really? Was looking at a master's program at Northeastern for $50K. I don't know. Make sure you need it, man. That's all I'm saying. Don't be going to college thinking you're going to need it. To me, this is how I look at college, man. It's mainly so you can get a job. That's what I say. But college, if you become a doctor, of course you got to go to college. You want a lawyer, of course you got. But there's a lot of stuff you don't really need a job for, especially in this new economy. When you're a debt slave, you don't really understand. College is not needed in this new economy. It's not. You could be anything you want, anything. If you're good at what you do, people are going to pay you. They don't care if you went to college. They're going to say, what do you do? I do this. And you do an excellent job. They're not going to say, hey, before I purchase from you, what college did you go to? You're not, no. It's only a matter of time. Listen, I want you guys to understand this. It's only a matter of time before people with money understand what I do. When they really come here and listen, because it's really higher than what I even tell you, but I don't even want to talk to you guys about it. Only to the SMD family members. I'm not even going that far. That's like, you guys might as well get on the Star Trek Enterprise and get on, because if you're a debt slave and you don't know you're a debt slave, you have no idea. A relative of mine and his wife went to the Maldives for their honeymoon. Pretty certain that they did it on credit cards, and I wonder if they're still paying. I probably are if they did it on credit cards. Believe that. What's up, Alonzo? I can't get any extra student loans. I need to finish my last semesters of my school science degree. You're gonna have to pay for it. There's really nothing else you can do. You're gonna have to work and pay for it. If you can't get no student loans, that's what you're gonna have to do. Do you really need it? You got to ask yourself, do you really need it? What's your goal for, what is your goal for getting the degree? Excuse me. Sorry about that. What is your goal? When, put it this way, when rich people now, not even rich, people that know how to make money. I don't even want to use the word rich, because the word rich is different for every debt slave thinks the word rich, right? People that know how to make money, that don't understand that capitalism is psychological, once they understand that I can give them the blueprint to be whatever they want to be, you guys don't understand what's going to happen to SMD. Not just me, because I can't handle everybody. That's the wonderful thing about SMD. It doesn't matter your age, man, woman, black, white, Spanish, Chinese, Jewish. It doesn't matter. When somebody from the negative side wants to come to the positive side, they will have somebody to talk to within their generation. Maybe they're comfortable with their own race, whatever. We will use every single avenue to reach the person to help them understand that none of that means nothing. You want to use a black person to come over? Hey, I'll get with you. Whatever. You want to use a young white woman? That'll be a young SMD family member that will help you come over here. That's it. And then once you get here, you're going to be like, you mean to tell me it doesn't matter the color of your skin? Nope. Do you trust math? Yeah, it doesn't matter what age you are that you trust math. It doesn't matter. You know why debt slaves constantly are chasing money? Because they are the money. It's them. You guys are the tax. It's like, now that I'm over here on the positive side, I remember I used to hear President Trump say, hey, I don't pay any taxes. I don't pay any taxes. Now, debt slaves, you guys hear that. I don't know. Like, I wonder what goes through a debt slave's mind. If you're a debt slave, right, and you hear President Trump say, I don't pay any taxes, what goes through your mind? Oh, he doesn't pay because he's rich? Or what do you, because you know everybody pays taxes. That's, if you don't pay taxes, that's called tax evasion, and you can go to prison for it. So you got to ask yourself, why would President Trump say that out loud? If you get, because you can do it legally. You can legally not pay taxes legally. You think I knew that as a debt slave? No. But guess what? You can't do that when you're in debt. You cannot, listen, you cannot legally not pay taxes if you're in debt. Now, you probably come to this channel and say, I've never heard of that. You can legally not pay taxes? So yes, that's true. That legally means that you're doing nothing against the law. Legally not paying taxes says, I understand how it works. That's what this says. I love taxes. Taxes are not evil. Taxes help build wealth. So with my degree, all I hear is that I will be marketable to get a software developer job outside of my current job, which is a lie. I think, you know what I'm thinking about coding? I think you should start focusing on what is it that you really want to do. What do you want to do? If you want to do coding, do it, master that shit, right? But don't do it because I'll get a good job, or do you want to do it? What I plan on doing right now is applying to remote software developer jobs so I can work from home and finish my last semester. Okay. If you got a plan, cool. All right. But just don't this is what I suggest, okay? Because you got to remember, this is you are at the beginning of a new economy, 2020. Things are not like before. Business owners, they're not saying, "Hey man, we're not going to hire you for if you don't got a college degree." Those days are over. You see how many online colleges there are? Though they are there because they know those days are done. They're coming to an end. The physical, actually having to go physically to a college, they're not doing all that. If you find something and you master it and you prove it in an interview, they're going to hire you. They're not going to really care about your college degree. I promise you that. College degrees, to me, college degrees just, I guess they could get you the interview, because this is just me. Okay. This is just me. How do you know if they're even checking to see if your college degree is valid? That's not free. That's a cost. If they have to check every single person's college degree, that's a cost. How do you know if they're checking it? I don't know. I've never. Hey man, did you guys check to see if I really had a degree? All I care was that they hired me. And if you come in doing the job that they paid you for and you're doing it exceptionally well, I promise you, they're not going to care about your college degree. I promise you. What's up, Ulysses? What's going on, sir? What I really want to do is make horror video games. I got the skills to program the game, and then I can sell the game. Hey man, this is what I always suggest people do, especially if you're young. Figure out how to create your own business. Do it early. Find something that you love. Now, you guys see what I do. This kind of SMD is not an overnight business. I've been almost 10 years at this now. I want you guys to clearly understand that. It took me almost 10 years to figure out capitalism is psychological. 10 years. Now that I understand that, you think, well, how do you create a business from it? I don't know. I got to figure it out. I don't know anybody that is doing what I do. There is no video on it. There are no white papers. Google doesn't know, nor does AI. That new AI chat GPT bullshit. Hey man, whatever. If you let them believe that thing is smarter than you, that's just what you do, I guess. I don't know. Do I think chat whatever is smarter than me? No. Just because they regurgitate information faster and compile it, that doesn't mean it knows more than you. It just knows how to do things faster than you. I know I'm not faster than my laptop. Those are people who don't understand the difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion. Correct. You got to remember, Luminoff, it is 100% mathematically impossible for debt slaves to avoid taxes. Therefore, they can never legally not pay taxes. That's a fact. That's a mathematical fact. They can't. That's why they hate taxes, because they can't avoid them. What's up, Christopher? Hey, LJ, what's your take on the data analytics certification trying to learn more skills? when it comes to getting in the game to get a job, hey man, just do what you guys do. That's what let me tell you guys what I did. I was a VMware engineer, top tier. I designed global networks, servers. I forgot the name of the security servers in the DMZ. Remote VDI sessions for people in India, and then I did all that shit. So what did I do? Get VMware certifications, and I got my college degree. I did what I needed to do to become a top VMware engineer. Made the six figures, all that. Today, I don't even want to touch that bullshit. It was just to get me to where I needed to get to. Put it this way, as much work as I put in to get that job, to get those particular skills, I would have, if I was debt free and I knew this information and I was an engineer, but I was debt free, I would have made my job double my salary. I would have told them, hey man, I'm not following that. I'm not following you guys' program of how you guys, hey, go to GG and FG and be here 5 years and then you move up 50 cents. Fuck no, I ain't doing none of that. Here's my salary requirements, or else I ain't fucking working here. That's what I would say. Because I knew I was good at what I did. I would have made them double my salary as much as they depended on me. Oh man. But I couldn't say nothing because I was in debt. You don't want to talk, you don't want to ruffle, you don't want to make waves at work, man. You might get in trouble like a kid. There's a website called Stream for PC Gamers to buy games from. Okay, so I can put games on there. Oh, that's cool. And sell them there and have video game. Yeah, that's video game is big business, man. That's big business. Video games is big business. Debt slaves live on video games. They live. Business as well, trying to Amazon FBA learning. I'm not sure what FBA is. But yeah, I was a big virtual engineer. I was all into virtualization, everything. I remember the first time when virtualization came out with VMware, they said, hey man, a server and a hard drive is a file. I was like, what? You mean I can expand a hard drive on the fly? Like back in the day, if you wanted a bigger hard drive, you had to pull the hard drive out and then stick in another one that was bigger. Virtualization, I could just make it say it started out as a 50 gig hard drive. I could make it 100 by the click of a button. I was like, oh, I'm all into that. Let me figure it out. I want to see how that shit works. Ulysses says, Linnell, you mentioned months ago about the housing market inflation. Man, they are building duplexes like crazy in my town, and the rent is ridiculously high. Most of them are empty and so close together for sure. But you got to always remember this, Ulysses. The banks own those houses. You think they're going to be building them for nothing? No, the bank's preparing for something. You got to remember, the banks control everything. Okay, this is how it works. Every debt slave, if they want to purchase a house, they all have to ask permission from the bank. Debt slaves cannot buy any house without asking their daddy first, the bank. They have to ask permission. Now, if you see houses being built, those houses are being built by the banks. They're not building them for nothing. They're doing something. Something's happening. Something's about to happen, and they're about to fill them with debt slaves. They're not building them just to be building them. They're building like crazy around where I live in Myrtle Beach. Everywhere. I'm driving down the freeway. We got a whole bunch of trees. I drive down the next week. The whole tree line is gone. They be clearing a whole forest within days. Most people are leasing those houses, leasing them. Bananas. Video games, very big business. I wanted to be part of them. Okay. I'm a big gamer. It's a virtual world. It's great. It's big business. If you could do that coding, that sounds like that would not, if you could create a business from that, that would not sound like work for you. That's the best business to have. Like SMD, listen, you guys don't understand. I will be doing this until I'm dead. How do I know that? Because I know capitalism will be psychological until I'm dead. It was here hundreds of years before me. Psychological capitalism, I learned it. I discovered it. It was already here. And it's all over the world. And it's been here for hundreds of years. I was just born in 69. So therefore, I will be doing this until I'm dead. Every video I make, listen, every single video I make will always be valid. It will be timeless because capitalism will always be psychological. People who not even born yet will listen to my videos and they will say, what year was this video made? They won't even know what year because everything I say will be applied. They'll be like, we're still making car payments today and it's 20 years later. I know. And you'll be making car payments until you're dead. Which say to make the game, I have to use a video game engine and a game design and come up with the art as well. I did a lot of research on it and I'm very driven and passionate. That's what you do. Let me explain something to you guys. I got here on the mic talking to you guys right now because I believed in myself. Nobody could explain this to me. There was no videos. There was nobody to talk to. There was nobody to say, hey, man, is debt bad? Or nobody. I'm giving you guys the 10-year condensed version of it. You guys are very, and I'm not bragging about it, but you're very lucky. Trust me. I got clients that call me every single month because I'm the only person that they can talk to about the things that their journey as a debt-free person. They have nobody else to talk to. They can't explain it to anybody. So when they call me to answer the question, guess what I do? I fill in the gaps with the answers to the questions that they had that nobody else can answer. I answer those questions so they can get along with it, go on with their journey faster. Correct, Ulysses. Debt slaves don't know. You can't cash flow from a rental mortgage property. You can't do that. Isn't that crazy? Debt slaves, listen, debt slaves don't even have the money to buy the rental property. Then they'll finance it and tell everybody that they're cash flowing. According to who? Is that you? You got a rental property that you got a renter in it and they're paying more and blah, 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 but it's mortgage and you think you're cash flowing? You're not. And you guys got to remember too, even the people that you hear say they got a rental property, you don't know if they set it up right. Do they have a rental property according to themselves or according to the IRS? They just get the mortgage in their name and didn't move into it and just advertise it as a rental and put a renter in it? Nope, that doesn't work like that. Imagine how many people think they can just do that and just don't tell the IRS nothing. No, and it's just my house. I'm not renting it thinking they're hiding something from somebody. They already know what you're doing. Your social security number ties your name to everything. That's so crazy, man. Debt slaves don't know that shit. That's why people are going to jail for using CPNs. You can't fuck with that. What are you talking about? That's your number. Your social security number, that's your assigned number to participate here in the United States of America. That's your assigned number. And now you think you're just going to change it on your own? You might as well start trying to print your own money. See what's going to happen. I'm so glad when I was a debt slave, I didn't follow that stuff. I didn't listen to people who are committing financial scams, stealing from people. I was like, nah, I'm good with that. You don't know at the time. You don't know that if you associate with a person that clearly is committing financial crimes, that's a debt slave. That's like the low down dirty ones. You don't associate with people like that because you can only imagine their credit history, their record, their criminal record. I promise you, it matches. Promise. When you come to the positive side of the economy, you don't do stuff like that. That doesn't happen. I teach you, say like you're in tax trouble and you don't know how to get out. I teach you how to pick the right tax professional. That's what I teach you to do. Because say like you're in the debt matrix. A lot of you guys are. A lot of you guys are in tax trouble and you're scared. You don't know who to go to. You don't know what the IRS is going to do to you. You just don't know. So you just put it out of your mind and just pretend to ignore it. Now you're so deep, you just don't know what to do. This is where I help you. I help you guys pick the right tax professional to help you out of it. How do I do that? I help you pick a tax professional who's personally debt free. They'll know what to do. How do I find one, LJ? You got to ask them. That's where I help you. You say like this. Say like you needed my help. You found 3 or 4 of them, right? You pick 3 or 4 of them. Of course, you got to pay me. I'm not going to just do it for free, right? And then I'll call them and ask them the question because I want to see more of it anyway. So I'll be happy to do it. I'll ask the tax professional the right questions. If they're in personal debt, you don't want that person. You don't want a tax professional because you want to know. Say like you're in tax trouble, right? And you want somebody to help you get out. So you look in the phone book, Google or whatever. How do you know the tax professional that you're trying to deal with is not in tax trouble themselves? How do you know that? You don't. That's why you got to ask. Can I see your personal credit report? Why? I need to see if you're in tax trouble. I'm not hiring anybody that's in tax trouble. Help me get out of tax. I'm in tax. Listen, you're in tax trouble. You go to a tax professional who is also in tax trouble. Do you think that person will be able to help you? No. But you don't know that because that tax professional is not obligated to tell you that. Honestly, I think it should be the law that, especially people that are tax professionals, that they're required to show their personal credit report. That should be a law. Because when you're debt free, you will probably have it displayed on the wall next to your diploma. So people walk in and say, "Hey, what's that? I've never seen that." Oh, you've never seen an empty blank credit report with no owners? Because you guys don't understand. Credit reports are really owner ledgers. Credit reports are owner ledgers. They just keep track of all the businesses that own you. You think I knew that? I didn't know that. That's why I'm the only person on the internet that has publicly shown my entire credit report for everybody to see. A lot of you guys are out there right now. You guys doing these 1099 jobs, not paying your taxes, haven't been paying it for years. If you do that, you're selling yourself. Because once you're in tax debt, there is no way out except to pay it. You have to pay it. What's up, Jesus? What's going on, sir? LJ, would you take the time to try to screen my tax guy? I would do that. But you got to remember, would your tax guy allow me to do that? That's the question. I can even give you questions, Jesus. All you got to do is say, ask your tax guy, hey, what college did you go to? You just ask them because that's a common question. Hey, what college did you go to? And they'll tell you, and you say, do you still have your student loan debt? If they say yes, if the tax guy says yes, you don't use them. That's the biggest question because a lot of tax professionals had to go to college. Ask the tax professional if they have student loan debt. If they say yes, the answer is no, you don't hire them. You can ask them that question and they won't know why you're asking that question because there's two things. If they say yes, it's because they believe having student loan debt is normal. And if you have student loan debt as a tax professional, if they have student loan debt as a tax professional, they don't know that capitalism is psychological, or else they wouldn't have it. Think about it this way. I want you guys to understand this is a different kind of smarts or whatever. I don't even want to call it smart. I'm going to call it perspective. Okay. Perspective. Even professional psychologists don't know capitalism is psychological. Go see, if you see a professional psychologist, say, hey, what college did you go to? They'll be more than happy to tell you because they had a college is the requirement to be a psychologist. You ask them, do you have your student loan debt? If they say yes, they don't know that capitalism is psychological because they still have it. That's why it's not nothing. It has nothing to do with being smart. It's a different mathematical perspective. They're not gonna lie to you because they don't. You got to remember the question that. Okay, put it this way, Jesus. I'm giving you what's called psychological questions. Debt slaves don't know why you're asking that question because, like I said, to be whatever they're to be, they probably was a college degree was probably required. Okay, when you ask them if they still have student loan debt, they're going to think it's normal to have it. If they say yes, they most definitely, because if you don't have student loan debt, you will be quick to say, no, I don't have student loan debt. This is for the people out there that just too scared to. Of course, you can't go up to somebody. Can I see your personal credit report? Of course, they're gonna be like, hell no, you can't see me. But you just ask them, are you in college debt? Yeah, nope. Like say like this. Say like you have a professional accountant. You most definitely ask them the same question. It's tax. Let me tell you the order: tax professionals first, accounting professionals second. They both should know that they should not have personal debt. They should both know that. So you ask if you have a professional accountant. Hey, did you go to college? Oh yeah, I did. I got this and that. They love to brag about their college degree. You say, okay, do you still have your student loan debt? No, you say, did you pay off your student loan debt? If they say no, you say you're fired. You're fired. Nothing personal. Say like this. Say like you ask this question of a tax professional or a professional accountant. You say, "Do you have student loan debt?" And they say yes. And they turn to you and say, and they say, "Why?" And you say, "How long have you had it?" No, you say, "Why?" And then they tell you, say, "Why have you had it that long?" That's the question you must ask them. Why have you had it that long? If you want to go that far, most of you will just hear. Most of you should just hear yes and hang it up. Okay. I asked my old tax guy, said to me, yes, who doesn't have oh, see what I'm saying? Who doesn't? Debt-free people. Debt-free people don't have it. People that live on the positive side of the economy, that's who do not have student loan debt. I'm telling you guys, it's bananas. Do you want the blueprint? Is that like This is who I'm. Let me speak to the people that I know who I'm talking to today. All you guys that are delivering stuff on 1099, not paying your taxes. First of all, stop thinking it's you. Stop thinking you're the only one that's doing it. But I want you to look around at your friends. You guys probably all got the same job. See if all your friends are not paying their taxes either. That's why you guys are friends. You know, they always say that 7 degree of separation, blah, blah, blah. But they don't really tell you how. What do you mean? How do you see it? This is how you see it. If you're not paying your taxes and all your friends are not paying their taxes, that's why you guys are friends, because you guys are all not paying your taxes and you're laughing about it and joking about it until one of you guys get pinned. And then the rest of you guys are going to be shitting in your pants because you're wondering, am I next? One day. They got 10 years to do it. Do you want to be that person? Are you tired of being scared of the IRS, scared of a big, bad, nasty letter in the mail? I'm explaining to you guys how to change that. You save up some money. You go hire a debt-free tax professional. You tell them your situation. Hey, you just walk in just like that. Hey, man, I haven't been paying my taxes in years. The IRS wants you to straighten it out. They do. I promise you, they do. They want you to straighten out. They just don't want to. They don't want to waste resources making you do it. So you come to them professionally. So say like this. Say like you are one of the people that haven't been paying your taxes in years. If you go hire a skilled professional to get it right, the IRS is going to know you hired somebody because they know sure in the fuck you didn't do it. You haven't been paying your taxes in years. So you didn't do it personally. But you did take the time to hire a professional, letting them know that you're serious about straightening this matter out. When I tried getting a personal loan, they said I didn't have enough credit history. They want you to be in more debt. I learned from you and Dave Ramsey I will never get a mortgage, auto loan, or any of that stuff when I graduate. Exactly. They want you to get in debt first. That's just business, nothing personal. Really nothing. I will pay off my student loans and be personally and business debt free for the rest of my life. That's how you do it. That's how people don't really understand Mr. Ramsey's situation. Mr. Ramsey is unlike millions of other business owners. Do you guys understand that? You guys don't really, a lot of people really don't even get it. Mr. Ramsey is debt free not only personally, in his business. There are very few people, there's very few people who are personally debt free. You guys already know how rare that is to be personally debt free. He's both. You better believe Mr. Ramsey knows what I'm talking about when it comes to taxes, okay? He knows he's not paying any taxes legally. He knows that. Telling you that it would be bad for business. I wouldn't even do that if I was him. I wouldn't tell nobody that. If I put it this way, if I ran Mr. Ramsey's business, I couldn't talk about what I tell you guys because that would disrupt my business. If I started, I said, hey man, you know what? Start investing in in your retirement, even though you have a mortgage, you'll be like, hey, wait a minute, LJ, you just told me that I cannot invest while having a mortgage. Yeah, I know I said that, but that's called business. That's why I couldn't do it. The idea I have to ask permission from the bank to get a house or car or whatever is bananas. Permission. When I look at the word equity, like the word equity, I understand the word equity is positive and negative. That's clearly a word made up by the bank. Equity. Even when I was a debt slave and the bank would reach out to me and say, hey man, you got equity and it's only 5 more, it's only at this much percentage rate to borrow it. I was like, if it's mine, why am I borrowing it at an interest rate? Because it's not yours. Equity that's a made up word by the banks. You can't own equity in a mortgage house. So clearly they made up that word and that whole, hey, come get out your equity. You can do this and that. You don't have nothing. What are you talking about? Clearly that's a made up word. You can't own equity in a mortgage house. Listen, and that's just business. I don't care that the banks made up the word. I don't care what they call it. They can call it yours, your mom's, your sister's, whatever. I don't care. If you're a grown up and you have to ask the bank for permission to buy things in your life, that means you're not a grown up. You're a debt slave. That's what that means. Only debt slaves have to ask permission to buy a car. Are you crazy? The banks already know who's in. Listen, you guys are so confused on who to trust, on how to get money and become wealthy and rich. The banks already know who's faking. It's not really difficult. Like, if you follow a podcast and they always have a bunch of fake money on it, they're talking to debt slaves. Because if you're there to get financial information, you got to ask yourself, why they got fake money in the video? Because they're talking to debt slaves. That's, you guys are visual. You guys love to see money. Even though that money is clearly fake. He would, like, if you see stacks of money in a video or in somebody's lap in a car, you know how they would have to watch everybody around them because everybody around them's in debt. So it's clearly fake money. I was looking at this video the other day. I saw this kid in a convertible Corvette, right, with a stack of money in his lap, and I was like, that money's clearly fake. The problem is this: what if you come across somebody that doesn't know that money's fake, and you get shot over it for some fake money? Because have you guys seen how real the fake money you can buy, how real it looks? There's some people out there so desperate that they will try to spend that fake money. Any questions? Any questions? I'm really here to help. Let me tell you who I'm looking for, okay? Because you guys are scared. I know you're scared. The people that had W-2 jobs before 2020, the world stopped in 2020. Now you guys got pushed into the 1099 jobs of delivering and doing all that other stuff where you're responsible for your own taxes and stuff. That's got to be a scary place to be. Because it was always done for you your entire life. Now you're instantly pushed into a world that you're responsible for your own taxes. And of course, you're not paying them because you don't know what to pay. You don't know how to do it. So you just do what you guys normally do. You guys hide. Pretend it doesn't exist. You don't have to live like that. You don't have to be amongst a whole bunch of debt slaves always talking about how they fear the IRS. Oh, the IRS is hiring 87,000 new IRS. Who cares? So what? When you're following, when you know how it works and you're following the laws and stuff, you don't care if they hired 100,000, 200,000. So what? They're going after the people that don't follow the laws. That's why they're hiring those people. And even when I read, listen, even when I read the details about the IRS agents that are being hired, man, if you see the work hours and what they're required to do, I'll be like, fuck no, I ain't doing that. Mandatory 55 hours and you got to always wear a thing around. Oh, hell no. Nope. You help me. Right now I'm working my job, but I can't work from home, and it covers the bills. Yep, it's just a tool. Your job is a tool. What's up, Cosmic? LJ, I'm going to take out a HELOC and buy me a Hellcat. Somebody took over Cosmic's. Oh, hey, everybody. Somebody hacked Cosmic's account. That's clearly hacked. Clearly. And I know next semester, my aide won't be able to cover me working less. So what are your thoughts? I got denied. What do you say? I got denied 5 different places for personal loans. When it put it this way, okay, I'm gonna come at it a different way, Code. I'm gonna explain it to you with using my journey, okay? And this is what I found, and hopefully you'll understand what I'm saying. I've learned, meaning how I got to the mic on you talking to you today, capitalism and psychological. I've learned along my journey, when it's the right way, I have absolutely no resistance in any form. And sometimes things will pop in along your journey that will look like resistance, but it's more of a lesson to be learned. It's there to show you something. Okay. But when you're on the right path, you have absolutely no resistance. So if you keep running into things that it looks like it cannot be overcome or something like that, that means there's something there that you can't see that you probably need to do. If you're like, okay, there's no way around this, I can't do, that means that something along your journey has put this barrier in your way, like a brick wall, to force you to look left, right, up and down somewhere. Somewhere. I promise you that. So I know I have to work during the semester somehow or get loans. I want to see if I can get the remote job from another company because you got to keep going. Got to keep doing it. That will give him red flags, right? Okay. Jesus says, I borrowed from a family member to get a used car 5 years ago. Instead of financing a new, pay it off the same year. I got it. Okay. No finance payments needed. Still runs. Good job. See how you come up with. It's crazy when you know you're not going to become a debt slave. Your brain will get very inventive. Like once you know, you're like, man, if I finance a car, I'm gonna be a debt slave. Then all of a sudden your mind kicks into another gear. Okay, who has what? What can I get? What can I do? Anything to avoid signing papers. What's up, Nick? I was in jiu-jitsu training, LJ. We are in here now. That's cool. Enjoying life. Nick out there enjoying life. I'm just kidding. Just stopping by to say hello. I bought my house with cat. Actually wrote a check a few years ago. Oh, a car or check? What are we talking about here? Oh, gotcha. No, I knew you were joking, Cosmic. Trust me, I knew that was a complete joke. Does asking my current employer to work from home during semesters a red flag? I can do it, but hourly. Just ask. Put it this way, Code. I want you to just stop. Okay? This is what I need you to do. Stop. Turn off your phone. Turn off the radio. Stop thinking about what you have to do in the future and this and that. Because when you think like that, when you're thinking all down the road, that means because you can't be in both places at the same time. You can't be in the present and somewhere else at the same time. So take about 30 minutes to yourself, turn off everything, make sure you power off your phone, because believe it or not, when you power your phone off, it breaks that psychological connection, because you will know that there will not be a sound coming out of that phone, because a lot of people don't realize how they're psychologically connected to their phone. They have no idea. They just think it's normal. Every buzz, ding, everything, they reach for the phone. Grab it. Grab it. You power that joint off, it breaks the psychological connection, because you know it's powered off, so there won't be no sound coming out of that phone. Give yourself about 30 minutes of silence so you can think. There's something there that you're not seeing. That's why you're having a problem. Because along my journey, everything has been put in. I've gotten this far. I'm not saying that I have had no resistance. The only so-called resistance is due to a lesson that needed to be learned. There's a big difference. Say like there was something I wanted to do really, really bad, but I didn't have any money to do it. That means I'm not supposed to do it, or else I would have it. The phone is now part of the people's body. You don't leave without it. Sure don't. The phone is the connection to the debt matrix. People are talking like, oh my God, Elon's going to put a chip in your head and this and that. You already got the chip in your hand. This is why they always keep you guys looking into the future. Everything. Have you noticed that? Everything is the future. Everything. So you don't look in the present. Look at the phone in your hand. Imagine yourself. Do this. Okay. I want you to and be honest with yourself. I want you to go somewhere, but leave your phone at home. Go somewhere today for an hour, but leave your phone at home, powered off. Most of you guys could never do that ever. What if something happens? What if that happens? What if all the excuses in your brain? If you can't do it, you're addicted. That's all. Not a big deal. Now that I think of it, I bought one of the house I rent out with cash too, and I will have all debts paid off in September. Bought a house in cash, finance some building materials. We already know Cosby's been doing it right for decades. $5K left, and that will be free and clear. Congratulations. I can only imagine what it'd be like to be personally debt-free and debt-free owning a big business. Several houses. Can you imagine? Totally debt-free, owning your rental houses free and clear. Crazy. See, here, let me give you guys an example of the economy being positive and negative so you can understand how it works. Say like you got a personal mortgage and you got an interest rate or whatever, right? You're paying. That's called negative compounding interest when you're paying interest. Okay. When you own say like you own a rental property, but you have a mortgage rental property and you're paying interest, you're making less money. See the difference? Thought of being personal. The thought of being personally debt with personal debt with apartment buildings that I have no debt in a business. And the apartments are owned by the business and not correct. Dave Ramsey said one video that nothing he owns. Correct. He knows nothing is, you don't put anything in your personal name, but you got to have, before you get to start even thinking about stuff like that. I mean, no, that's true. You can start doing it now. You know, this year, well, not this year, it's been a few years now, but this is the first time I've really owned my own business. So I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about when you become personally debt free and you own, and then you become a business owner, you will then realize all these people that own businesses, they're debt slaves too. Just because they're a business owner don't mean they have money. They could be owned personally and business wise. They can be owned. People that own businesses can be owned by their business. You guys got to understand it. Just because they're a business owner, you don't know if the business owns them or they own the business, and you will tell by their bills. The bank knows. You know how many people that are business owners that are owned by their business? They're not really business owners. They're owned by the business. You don't know how much debt they're in. You can't tell. You can't tell by looking at them. If you go to a person's restaurant and the restaurant is really nice, you automatically assume that they're rich because they have something that you haven't done or whatever. None of that is true. Any questions? Getting off in about 10 minutes. Any questions? I'm here to help you guys, honestly. It's the blueprint, and it's a much higher level. Every now and then, I'll come on the live and talk to you guys, but it's going to be getting less and less because I'm just tired of talking about the same thing over, which is something that's never going to really change. Maybe on hot topics, like hot financial topics, but first of all, you got to be interested in first in what's going on around you. Debt slaves don't even know about the central bank, Federal Reserve banks. They don't know nothing, don't care. Put it this way, Cosmic. On my other business, we grossed 100,000. Guess how much I paid in taxes? Zero, legally. Zero. Zero taxes legally. Zero. Why? Because I understand how it works. Put it this way. If you own a business and you figure out how to legally not pay taxes for the business, it's almost like the IRS is giving you a reward for following the laws correctly. It's almost like a thank you. Oh, we didn't have to waste no resources on making you pay stuff and do stuff right. It's like a thank you. I would love for you to video of who? Oh yeah, I already did Caleb. I already got some Caleb's. I don't really. He's just a debt slave doing things. I don't really want to do his no more because he is most definitely a debt slave. He is a debt slave. LJ, I'm burned out from 2 jobs. It will take 9 years to pay off the house. Would you sell or work like a slave for years? My rule for myself is that if I can't pay my debt off in 10 years, I'm not doing it. I'm getting rid of stuff. I'm filing for Chapter 7. I'm doing something. If I can't pay my debt off in 10 years, I'm going to see a lawyer and say, can I get Chapter 7 legally? Everything must be legally. Remember that, legal. You go hire a professional and say, in my state, can I get Chapter 7? If the answer is yes, that's what the fuck I'm doing. All the debt slaves, oh, you're a loser. You filed bankruptcy. Don't listen to debt slaves. Bankruptcy Chapter 7 has been placed there by the United States of America. It doesn't matter how debt slaves feel about bankruptcy Chapter 7, okay? Remember that. Always remember that. What up? What you been up to, LJ? Hopefully you and yours. We're doing good. Everything's good over here. I'm doing more self-learning in this time in my life. It's only debt. Sure is. Congratulations, LJ. I didn't pay tax on my business income as well. Only my W-2 salary, which was taxed. Same here. Same here. And guess what, Cosmic? This is and you've probably had this all your life. This is never, I'm going to tell you something, Cosmic, that has never, ever, ever happened to me. When I did that, when we did the business taxes and the personal taxes together, they gave me vouchers to prepay my taxes. I had never heard of vouchers. I had never seen them before in my life. She was like, okay, here you go. Okay, so here's the vouchers that you got to pay every 3 months. I was like, what? What is that? Oh, yeah, the IRS wants you to start prepaying your taxes. And if you go over, they're going to give you the leftover. I was like, what? I told the lady, I said, I had never had that happen in my life ever. But this is the first time. I had never had a job either. I also know how it works. I know capitalism is psychological. So I said, oh, okay. So basically, the IRS is saying, oh, we know that you know because you didn't pay any taxes on your business. So since you know, we're not going to wait for our money. You're going to give it to us now. That's how I that's how I took it. That's how I took it. But that's cool. I don't really care. All right, cool. Every 3 months, I'm a prepaid. Every 3 months, I am required to prepay my taxes. I had never, ever, ever done that in my life, ever. Never even heard of it. Oh yeah, this is your IRS voucher. IRS voucher? What the hell is that? I still owe, how many zeros is that? 200,000? Mr. Big, you owe 200,000 in back taxes? Is that what you're saying? Or you 200,000 in debt? Oh, okay, no, you're talking about debt. Okay. So how much of that is the house? Okay, let's go with there. Take the house out of it. How much you owe? And do you have a FHA mortgage? Mr. Big, you got a FHA mortgage? I got to know what that number is, Mr. Big. What is that number? Total debt? What is that? Anyway, like I said, this is my gift. This is my passion. I'm changing people's lives with this. This is what when I first got out of debt, my intention wasn't to change people's lives. My intention was just to get out of debt. If you can find something that another human being will come up to you and say, hey, LJ, you changed my life, that's what you want to do. Because people don't hear that by accident. People don't accidentally go up to other people and say, hey, you changed my life. That doesn't happen by accident. That's intentional and on purpose and meaning. You have to really feel that inside to tell that to somebody. I hear that all the time now. LJ, you changed my life. Emails, phone calls, happens all the time now. And never one of them, never once do I say, oh, I'm getting used to it. Oh, people say that all the time. I'm getting so. No, never. All ages, man, woman, races, everybody says it to me. Each one sounds like it's new each time. Now, don't get me wrong. The very first time I heard somebody say that to me, it kind of threw me. I was like, whoa, that's serious business for somebody to say it. Yes. Oh yeah, I get those vouchers. That's why I love tax season, free money time, right? Those vouchers. That's like, what? The vouchers sound like they're about to give me something, right? But it's a voucher to pay them. I was like, okay, I get it. Totally understand. Because remember, not many people, trust me, a lot of even business owners, you guys have no idea you could legally not pay taxes, okay? All right. And if you figure it out and you do it, I truly understand that the IRS knows that many people, millions of people, don't know how to do that. Millions. And if you do it, that automatically tells the IRS that you understand how it works. So they're going to get their money now. They're not going to wait to the end of the year because they know you have it now because you didn't pay any taxes in your business. Totally get it. Totally understand it. I don't trip. It's cool. So I know personally from now on, I will never owe taxes personally because I'm prepaying them. And if it's anything at all, it'll be very little. Now think about it. How many people do you think there are? Listen closely. How many people do you think there are in the United States of America that prepay their personal taxes? How many people you think do that? Not many. Not many at all. Not many. Not many at all. How many people you think own a business and pay zero taxes in their business taxes legally? Not many. They don't even know that shit exists. How do you do that? They don't know. When you put it this way, debt slaves, because you guys don't really understand. When you do it right, it's very simple. It's not really complex. It's not. One business account, everything goes in and out of that business. All business transactions go into there. You got your personal account separate from your business. You don't commingle. So when it's time to hand all your information to your professional accountant, you just give them all the information out of the bank account because everything goes through there. All the numbers will add up everything will match up, all the numbers and expenses and the taxes. I pay everything out of that account, all my local taxes, all of it comes out of that business account. When it gets to the federal level assumes they're going to check all the connections that you said you did and did this and that, and everybody's numbers should match, period. That's it. Because when you're a debt slave, put it this way, debt slaves, when you are a debt slave and you don't know you're a debt slave and you cheat on your taxes, it's very obvious. How? Because none of your math will match. It won't equal up to anything. And then you have to prove it. Then the IRS comes knocking on your door and says, hey, we got these numbers. They probably let you bury yourself for 2 or 3 years because debt slaves, you guys don't know how to keep records. You guys don't know how to organize shit. You guys don't know how to do nothing. And then when they come knocking on the door and say, hey, we got these numbers. Can you prove otherwise? They already know you're not. Why? Because they're knocking at your door. That's why. If they're there, it's too late. If they're knocking at your door, it's too late. There's nothing you can do. And I've always wondered, honestly, when you're doing like tax fraud and you get in tax trouble and then you go get a lawyer, what is your lawyer going to do? I don't really get it. Besides pay your tax bill, what is your lawyer going to do? I'm assuming work out a payment program or some shit. I don't know. All right, well, conventional, 200,000. Your mortgage is your only debt? How much do you make a year? Let me make sure I'm hearing this right, Mr. Big. Is your mortgage your only debt? And how old are you? I don't know why you should come up, Mr. Big. I don't know why people don't want to come up. It don't make no sense. Any questions? If there's no question, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. And for the people that follow me out there, if besides reviews, I don't know what else to I don't know what else to get into for you guys because it's really it's the same old shit over and over, pushing the student loan line and It's going to be due here. You guys are not going. It's just the same old stuff. So what else could there be to talk about? We already know debt slaves are here because they have to be here. The economy could not exist without them. So whatever you guys see in the news about student loans and the date being pushed, and that's all how it's supposed to be. Like, oh, they're not going to start the payments till really January because Christmas is coming. Apple's about to have their phone sales. They can't disrupt that shit. If they made you guys start paying student loan payments now, that would disrupt Christmas sales. And that would hurt everybody because Christmas is the most money-making time that businesses make, Christmas. So if they started those payments now, it would disrupt that, which would hurt everybody. So they push it to January because you guys will instantly think, oh, I'll make my first payment with my income tax check. Is that you planning on making your first student loan payment with your income tax return? Is that you? That's why they did it, because they knew you guys would do that. But I guess I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you, Cosmic. Thank you, Mr. Big. I wish you guys good luck out there, especially you guys delivering stuff that haven't paid your taxes in a while. I strongly suggest you come see me. If you're listening in the car, SavingsMinusDebt.com. Set up a consultation, CashApp at SavingsMinusDebt. Hit that like button if you enjoy the streams. And if you go through a lot of you guys are seeing my old videos. Don't forget to hit that like button, man. Get those likes up. I'm noticing a large difference in likes instead of views. Like, my channel is not more about views, it's more about likes. And I believe, like, with likes is one extra step. If you reach somebody, it's like, I watch a lot of videos. I use myself as an example, right? I watch a lot of videos. But when a video moves me or does something, I make sure I hit that like button because I don't really do it consciously. You too, Jesus. Much appreciated. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon where you are. It's probably, if you're on the West Coast, it's still morning. East Coast, it's early afternoon. All right. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Later.